we promised you a great main event here tonight. Sunshine. WrestleMania!
WrestleMania is running west.
The world is watching.
Yeet. The Royal Rumble 2025 is in the bag, and what a show it was. 70,000 people, Indianapolis. The biggest crowd for a Royal Rumble and billed as the biggest Royal Rumble of all time. And I have to say, from the men's Royal Rumble point of view, it's hard to argue of a bigger Royal Rumble in terms of purely names and then the action, especially the last sort of half an hour or so of action of the men's Royal Rumble. But let's start with the women's Royal Rumble, which kicked us off. I thought it was a good Rumble, not great. Pacing wise, always hard in Rumbles. I actually thought last year the women's Royal Rumble was actually better than the men's, but this year I think the men's is always going to overshadow the women's this year, just in terms of sheer star power. But it was a good, entertaining Rumble, some interesting returns, debuts, call ups potentially from NXT. Began with Io Sky and Liv Morgan, two of the standout women performers of the last year or so in WWE. And they both lasted an hour and six, I think it was hour and 6 minutes, hour and 7 minutes that they lasted. And that is some people who don't do sports or whatever, cardio, and that intensity to keep going for that long is pretty impressive. I think it just goes to show how athletes have evolved, because I think you get, in the olden days, in the yesteryear, it was such a rare feat for an athlete to do it. But I think we get one or two in each match now every year of these athletes who do an hour or so plus. And in the end, I think it was Roxanne Perez who must be the thing who came in third and was one of the standouts of this. I mean, I haven't seen a huge amounts of NXT, but what I have seen, and every time I see Roxanne Perez in NXT, she's impressive. Obviously, was champion up until Julia beat her recently in NXT, and I don't know if this means she's on the main roster, but I'll be shocked if she's not on the main roster. Maybe some business to finish off at NXT with an event in a couple of weeks, but after that, I suspect when she lost, and I'm surprised, and to the men's one, I suppose we didn't see Trick Williams in the men's one, but that was a stacked field, and it was hard to get a spot in that men's one, harder than the women's one. And I think that's probably the key difference this year. There is obviously star power in the women's one, but when you can have John Cena having his last Royal Rumble, and then you add in a Roman Reigns who doesn't normally compete in the Royal Rumble, a CM Punk who has been away for years and obviously got injured in last year's, and everyone else who's at the top of the card, then it is stacked. But the women's Royal Rumble was entertaining. I think it was ages till the first elimination. I think it was BFAB that went out. Bianca Belair and Bailey came in quite early in terms of star power, in terms of names. It built up quite a few times where there had a lot of women in the ring, and I guess admissions wise, there was no Becky Lynch, which I don't know what the situation with her is. Obviously, she's not injured, but I'm assuming she will come back at some point. I think that would have added some star power. Jade Cargill, I don't know if she's legit injured, what the situation is. I'm actually genuinely intrigued in the storyline and who injured her, whether it's storyline or otherwise, in terms of how long she's out for. But that would have been a shame, especially as Naomi and Bianca were obviously in it together, working as a team a lot in the match. And yeah, it was sitting. I think some good showings though. From the NXT women, Lash Legend was pretty good in it. Julia again, another one. Stephanie Vaquer, another good one. Good spot with Maxine Dupree getting out Ivy Nile, even though she didn't last more than 5 minutes. I've got the list here of the order here, so it reminds me of what happens in the match. Chelsea Green, unexpected. Well, not unexpected anymore. She's getting over and over all the time. She's obviously United States champion. She was good. The crowd were very disappointed when she got eliminated accidentally by Piper Niven, but that was a good spot. In terms of any other returns, I was Jordan Grace, who has obviously signed now with WWE, who was actually in last year's Royal Rumble as the TNA champion, and now is in as a WWE superstar. I'm assuming she will be on Raw or SmackDown. She looks ready made for Raw or SmackDown. I'm not sure she needs to go to NXT. Then you could say that about some of the other women also in NXT. But she was a good showing from her. Some pretty impressive moves on Piper Niven. And then we got, I think, probably one of my highlights from the Royal Rumble, and definitely Charlie's highlights, was Alexa Bliss's return. Now, there was a rumor, which I've been really good at avoiding rumors, but I saw something comes out. Even if you avoid rumors these days, it'll get you on something. So you see it, you just follow all the official accounts, and you still see some stupid thing recommended in your feed on Instagram. So, and then I saw something about Alexa Bliss and WWE not coming to terms or something. So I was trying to temper Charlie's expectations in the last few days that Alexa Bliss might return, but she did. 2 years out, obviously having a child, first child. But it was got a huge pop for her. And a very conflicted Talia when Liv Morgan actually eliminated. A crowd very disappointed when Alexa Bliss got eliminated, but I'm looking forward to seeing her on Raw or SmackDown or wherever she's going to be, and it's good, and it adds again a bit of that star power to WWE. Trish Stratus, I didn't know she was going to appear. Obviously she hasn't been it since she feuded with Becky Lynch, and they had that steel cage match, I think it was. That was a while ago, which was great. It was a bit of a funny feud, wasn't it? But the ending, the last match, was really good in the steel cage with Becky. So I don't know if that's just an appearance in the Royal Rumble for Trish, or if Trish is going to have a run to WrestleMania and feature. She did pretty good, to be fair, and age doesn't seem to affect her. Um, 27 was Charlotte Flair, which we all knew was going to happen, but it is great to see her back. It was a horrific injury that she got. I was reading a bit about it this week, and obviously her rehab and what she had to go through, and given the sort of wrestler Charlotte Flair is as well. Not that I don't think it would help any wrestler, but it is a pretty horrific injury to come back from over a year out. And great to see her back, wearing a knee brace now, which is interesting. Just one, not two, like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yet hopefully she will never need to. And it was yeah, it was pretty. First time I've ever seen pyro fireworks in a. It wasn't the last time of the night, but the first time I've ever seen pyro in the middle of a Royal Rumble entrance. But yeah, gave her the big return. I think she was the overwhelming favourite here. I think everyone knew she was going to win. I don't think there was any surprises. Nia Jax eliminated about 500 people. I think it was 7 or 8 or whatever it was. At one point, she eliminated Bianca Belair, Naomi, Liv, and a load. I do like how Nia Jax has come back since she's come back, and how good she is, how good she's been, and she plays the right character of this big bully. However, I don't know. I think I was just expecting something with storyline with Bianca and Naomi, and then for them to just get eliminated quite easily was a bit disappointing. And then obviously Liv as well. I mean, they're obviously ex-women champions in that. And then it took the star power out a little bit, because I don't think anyone ever thought um, uh, there was a chance that Roxanne Perez or Nia Jax or Charlotte Flair. So I think it was a bit of a not anti-climax. It was still good ending, and fair play to Roxanne Perez, who has done herself favors with that showing. And Charlotte Flair wins. It's a pretty standard fair rumble, I think, with an expected winner, which is what we'll go to in the men's one shortly. But yeah, a good rumble, a good start. I think it seems like as long as Royal Rumble stays at one night, and obviously it's in Saudi Arabia next year, so it's going to be an interesting Women's Royal Rumble, isn't it? But as long as it stays to one night, then I think opening with the Women's Rumble is always a good shout. It's yeah, and I think it's just again it's a hard because it's the direct comparison to the men's one this year, and direct comparison in terms of like the star power thing, and the women's obviously division is nowhere near as advanced in terms of years as the men's one. So star power is always going to be hard. However, you look at some of those stars in the making, and you think where Julia could be, and obviously Tiffany Stratton and Rhea Ripley. Obviously, Rhea Ripley big star, not in it. Tiffy as well. But you look at another year of Netflix, another year of 3 hours of Raw, 3 hours of SmackDown, NXT. Some of these NXT women, and you think actually some of those stars are going to get built. You'll have your standards, and you'll have your Baileys and your Becky Lynch's and Charlotte Flairs and Bianca Belairs and Liv Morgans, all of that. Then you've got another load of 5 or 6 who can come through on that, and that will make it. Yeah, I think what we knew, it was almost like when Cody was coming back, the first Rumble he won, you almost knew that he was going to win the Rumble because he was coming back from that long injury, and it was the similar thing, I think, with Charlotte Flair. But good Rumble, entertaining, always good to start, and the Rumble's always fun. I said I think for me one of the highlights, because we didn't know was Alexa Bliss coming back, and good to see her back. And then some of the NXT performances. Cody Rhodes. I'm not even going to go to the Motor City Machine Guns versus DIY. So anyone who watches this regularly knows I'm not a huge DIY fan. I don't know why this match was on the thing. I mean, what I would say, and I mean this in the most respectful way, is that it would have given people a chance to go to the toilet, get some snacks. Um, 2 out of 3 falls match. I know for a lot of people this is like some kind of dream match, but it's not for me, and I don't think it was for the crowd, and I don't think it was for a lot of people watching. But I mean, it is. And then the convoluted ending with the Street Profits. I'm not sure you do a 2 out of 3 falls match and then you have a interference ending, but anyway, it is what it is. Hopefully, the Street Profits get a push. Because obviously, neither of them were in the Royal Rumble. And Montez, I mean, I really want Montez Ford to get a singles push. But anyway, that was at Motor City Machine's gone lost and DIY retain. And I assume now that Street Profits will face DIY and hopefully Street Profits win because at least they're mildly entertaining, unlike those two teams. Ladder match, I was looking forward to this. I was like, you get a ladder match and you get 2 Rumbles on the same card. And it didn't disappoint. This was great. I thought this was just a very, very good match between 2 very, very good wrestlers in Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, with a real story of hatred to tell. Went into the crowd, throwing beers at each other. I thought it was great. And then obviously when the ladder spots started hitting, there were some hard hitting spots. Yeah, there's talk about injury, and I don't know if it's real kayfabe. What is the real, how bad those injuries are to Cody Rhodes? But hopefully, obviously, it doesn't keep him out of WrestleMania season. He doesn't have to relinquish the belt or anything like that. But they took some hits. Spot after spot just landed, and landed literally in the case of Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, into the ladders repeatedly. Even from that first ladder spot where he put Cody through some of the holding bits of the ladder, you knew it was going to be quite a vicious match. It was just, I think I saw a bit of the post show, and Big E was just saying it's just Big E or Joe Tessitore, however you say his name, was saying it's just violence. It was just a fight. It was just a fight, but it was a good fight. It was for the belts. I love the Sami Zayn stuff, bringing him into the storyline. Is he going to do something? He's going to feel. I think I like the fact that he didn't do anything, but showed concern for Kevin Owens, showed a bit of concern for Cody Rhodes, and then obviously towards the end, with the most hellacious move, Alabama slam I've ever seen, Cody Rhodes into KO, and KO stayed in that position for about 10 minutes, crushed head into the ladder, and Cody Rhodes retains. He didn't look injury free, to be fair, Cody Rhodes, but I don't know what the situation. They said on the post show he's sustained injuries, will be on SmackDown though, so hopefully that is not ever relinquished, because we don't want to see Cody Rhodes out at WrestleMania, and if someone's going to beat him at WrestleMania for the title, whoever that may be, we want him to beat the title, not have him have a vacant title or anything like that. And I assume Randy Orton will be back soon to insert himself into this element of storyline at some point. I'm assuming, but I may be wrong, and I don't know. I'm assuming Randy Orton is not actually injured. He's just having a break. I know, I was surprised not to see him in the Rumble. So speaking of the Rumble, so the main event was the men's Royal Rumble. This was great. I think all of it was great, but the last sort of 20, I need to watch it again tonight, but the last sort of 20 minutes or so, including the ending, including the shock, I think was just great entertainment. And again, I think for, obviously this is Peacock in the USA, but Netflix all around the world. And Royal Rumble is one of those things that people know about, even if they don't know about wrestling that much, and they watch and they remember, oh, I watched Royal Rumbles again. Royal Rumble's fun. It's quick pace. Every 2 minutes, someone comes in, you see. So I think if the WWE got some additional audiences from people who haven't watched for a while, or haven't or have never watched before, or by bringing in ISO Speed, some people who've just checked it out for ISO Speed, or even Logan Paul. We'll talk about him in a bit, but it was good. It was really good. Rey Mysterio and Penta open, which was great. Obviously, Luchador fans dreamed sort of combination match. Didn't keep them apart. Penta's obviously started really, really well. Almost hit the ground with 2 feet. They didn't show the replay, so may have to do a VAR on that. But obviously, there is no VAR in WWE, so he was allowed in it. And it did look like just 1 foot, but it looked very close to 2 feet right at the beginning, which wouldn't have been, I don't think, the plan. But anyway, that was good. Good opening. Adding Chad Gable to it was really good as well. Carmelo Hayes in his brief stint did well. And and then Braun Breaker number 7. I'm just looking at the numbers. That was when business picked up for me. He is something special. His dad was in the crowd, Rick Steiner. I think he is good. I mean, this is not news, and it's not the first time I've said this, but you can just that combination of speed and strength is unreal. He is really good. Timing, speed, strength, and timing is what Braun Breaker is. And yeah, really, really good showing from Braun Breaker. Uh, to Akira Tozawa. Poor Akira Tozawa was supposed to come in next. Got hit by Carmelo Hayes, couldn't come in, goes back to the gorilla position, and Triple H says we need a replacement, and Speed is standing there. I show Speed, who is a streamer, I believe. I know who he is. He's a streamer. He's a football fan, and he's a Ronaldo fan. But he's came in, and again, celebrity. I mean, the bar of celebrities has been obviously raised with Logan Paul and um, Bad Bunny over the last couple of years. So it's a different expectation now when you've got these sorts of people there. So Speed did brilliantly. Like he did as well as can be, and I have to say, fair play to that man taking that spear at that thing with no protection and just got and then got thrown out, caught by Otis and thrown back over the commentary table. Those new commentary tables are not soft. Ask JD McDonough. And yeah, so that was a good spot. Look at the list: Sheamus, Jimmy Uso, Feli Stanfield, Andrade, Jacob Fatu. That's who we need to talk about next because we do need to talk about him because Jacob Fatu is, you know what I mean? Did I get it right? Is that how you say it? I mean, his promos in the last few weeks have been unreal. I think his promo before his match with Braun Strowman at Saturday's main event was the best promo we've had this year. Promo, whatever hype bit. It's obviously not like a back and forth promo, but he's just great. Obviously, he was been brilliant in the ring since he's come in. And then he was saying we didn't get Solo in the Rumble. I'm actually disappointed we didn't get Solo, but I quite like they keeping him off, and I'm quite intrigued to see what they do next with Solo. Maybe Solo and Jacob at WrestleMania. I would happily watch that. To be honest, if that's the way they go. But Jacob Fatu, he got a few eliminations. Actually got eliminated, didn't he, by Braun Strowman in the end? But I thought really, really strong showing. Number 15 was the TNA champion, and I know some people really, really believe, but obviously he's got a great song. Um, I don't know how good he is in ring because I've never watched a Joe Henry match, but he did okay. He did okay. Did a few moves. And then number 16, way earlier than I thought he was going to come in, was the original, the only tribal chief, your tribal chief, our tribal chief, Roman Reigns, coming in, who then also got pyro for his entrance, much like Charlotte Flair. Um, came in with Paul Heyman. I was, and from this moment, I think the match was really good. It just became great from this point. Firstly, because there's greatness amongst us in Roman Reigns, but the level again having a Roman Reigns probably how many more Roman the good chance of Roman Reigns is a champion. Roman Reigns' schedule gets less and less. This I don't know how many more Royal Rumbles Roman Reigns is actually going to be in. Michael Cole said interesting. He hasn't been in the last 5 Royal Rumbles because he's been champion, and it was that one championship reign for 4 Royal Rumbles in a row that he had, or whatever it was. So he is really going to be in a Royal Rumble. So to get Roman Reigns in it, I mean, the star power then, it was just, it's almost like WWE was showing off at this point. So I'm reading it now. So you had Roman Reigns, then you have Drew McIntyre, who's had on my call for Wrestler of the Year last year. Finn Balor, who's obviously had a great year as well, former world champion. Shinsuke Nakamura. Number 20 was Jey Uso, hugely over, did brilliant at Saturday night's main event. Made me believe for a few seconds that he could actually beat Gunter, which is when wrestling is done right. That's when it's at its best. When you think, okay, for a split second, this surely Gunter's not going to lose to Jey Uso, but there was a second there when he hit the double spear and the Uso splash, but he didn't. So Jey Uso, then AJ Styles returning. I thought he was injured for a long time. Very pleasantly surprised that he wasn't. Also returning with his proper theme tune and not his stupid ass new theme tune that he brought back in. So that was great, and he did really well. A great show. I mean, obviously AJ Styles is technically one of the best wrestlers there is for the last 20 years. So it's not a surprise he's technically very good. Braun Strowman, who I thought might not be in it because of injured, he actually eliminated Jacob Fatu, but Strowman obviously a good character to have for this. And then 23, 24, 25. 23, John Cena comes out. Last Royal Rumble appearance. one of the biggest wrestling stars of all time. People will put him on the Mount Rushmore. They put him at the top of the Mount Rushmore. Where John Cena comes in, we're about to get a face off between John Cena and Roman Reigns. Again, a lot of people have both these two people on their Mount Rushmore, and then CM Punk's music hits at 24. So then it's a freeway face off, and then nothing actually happens, which doesn't need to happen. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. Let people just fall around the ring and let these three men set a ring, and then Seth Rollins comes in, and you have got four absolute megastars, genuine megastars, with so much storyline and history. You think of Seth and John Cena's feud, John Cena and obviously and Roman Reigns. John Cena actually came in and gave Roman Reigns an AA at the main event of WrestleMania last year, but the commentators didn't mention, which they should have. Obviously, CM Punk's history with John Cena, CM Punk's history with obviously right now is current with Seth, and the whole Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns staff favor all of that. So you get this thing, they go at it. 26 was Dominic Mysterio, which I love the fact that they brought him in with all of these absolute superstars. And he did okay, lasted a bit of time. And then the last four, Sami Zayn, Damian Priest, LA Knight, again, all stars made, elevated in the last couple of years. And Logan Paul to finish to the anger of the crowd. And I go back, Logan Paul's obviously very good in the ring. He's a bit of a dick, isn't he, outside of the ring? And I don't think that helps. And he says he's doing it full time now, so let's see. I think the thing is with Logan Paul, he brings eyeballs into the thing. He is good in the ring. He's good on the mic. I saw some debate about, oh, he's getting booed because he's not because he's a bad guy, it's because they hate him. But I mean, that is what bad guy is. People could be hated for different reasons. So, but yeah, and then you get a series. I need to watch it again because it was so good. Then this sort of last 15 minutes just excellent. A series of finishers from Roman and from Seth, and everyone getting taken out. So you're left with Roman and Seth. Because for me, this is the match. Has to happen at a WrestleMania. It may now happen at this WrestleMania. It may be something else. But this is a feud. This is the oldest right. This is Man United versus Liverpool. If you're a football fan, this is the oldest rivalry. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, a history is there. In recent memory, they've had one match at Royal Rumble a few years ago. Obviously, there was the bit at the end of WrestleMania where Roman could have hit Cody with the chair and he hit Seth. So there's an argument and a mention on commentary that he played a part in costing Roman Reigns a title. They've got such history and a great story, and they've got great chemistry, all of that sort of stuff. So them two are going at it. I think one's going to eliminate the other. Then they're both hanging on the edge. And CM Punk lifts them both over and eliminates them to the shock of the crowd. And the CM Punk gets eliminated by Logan Paul, which actually, at the time, I was like, what? My two favourites to win, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, are both out. And then probably my third one, Seth Rollins, to win, as in favourites, as in who I wanted to win, are all out. But actually, it makes that line that CM Punk said to Kevin Owens about losing to Logan Paul even better because he said it the night before, as like the biggest insult of the lot, and he'd just been eliminated out of the Royal Rumble and decreasing his chances of main eventing WrestleMania. And then what happened outside was better than what was actually happening. Well, I don't know if it was happening inside this point because we got Seth absolutely snapping, curb stomp, I can't call it curb stomp when it was stomp to Roman Reigns. Him and Seth going absolutely at it. Paul Heyman crying. I think he actually was crying. He comes back out, Seth, going for Paul Heyman, gives him the finger, and then another stomp onto the steps of Roman Reigns. Then him and CM Punk continue to fight. Just in my head, oh my God, are we going to get Seth and Roman at WrestleMania? Yes, please. Are we going to get Roman and Punk at WrestleMania? Yes, please. Are we going to get a freeway? Yes, please. We can even, I'll take CM Punk for Seth for any combination there. Take my money. I am paying it. And I know the titles are supposed to get the main event, but whatever that combination is, that's at least one of your main events for me. And that's what I want to see. Then we're left with the last three. So it's Logan Paul, Che Uso, and John Cena. And in my head, okay, how they're going to play this? Jay will go out because he's sort of cannon fodder in that match, and he'll go out first out of the three of them. And they'll tease Logan Paul winning it, and it'll make John Cena super over because Logan Paul's the most hated one in the thing. John Cena's in his last WrestleMania match, and that's what happened. In fact, Logan Paul goes out, and you're left with Jey Uso and John Cena, which is interesting. And crowd are properly split, and split but in a friendly way. It's not like they half of them hate Cena, half of them hate Jey Uso. Half of them love Jey Uso, and half of them are rooting and love obviously John Cena. One of the best wrestler or biggest wrestlers of all time. And then you've got this thing, and you've got this heat, and you've got this cheering, and you've got this thing. And I think, okay, we know John Cena's going to get there. He's going to get this thing, and we're not going to know if he's going to pick Gunter or Cody, but we know he's going to, get into the main event of WrestleMania, get a title match. And John Cena, I think, much like Charlotte Flair, was a favourite. Maybe not as big a favourite in my head, anyway, at least in my head of that. And you get them, then they're both on the outside. Jey Uso lands a super kick. John Cena hangs off the edge, 1 foot over, comes back. Jey Uso almost falls into an attitude adjustment. And you think, okay, they've got the camera shot wide. He's out there. Jey Uso's about to hit. AA. Jey Uso, she slips back in the ring and just gives John Cena a push. And there we have the most shocking, surprising, pleasantly surprising winner in my head of the Royal Rumble ever, at least since Ric Flair won in '92, which is probably the best Royal Rumble. And now I'm going to go 1992, 2025. 33 years apart. But those for me, I think, again, this is obviously instant reaction. Sort of, I only watched a couple of hours ago and it's fresh, recency bias, all of that stuff. But I'm going to say these two Rumbles are up there as the best men's Rumbles that I can remember. There's some great ones, some great moments in this, but that ending, that, like I said, that last, the star power, everything, Jacob Fatu, all of the other bits, the speed bit was done well, good showings for other people. Um, yeah, it was great. It was great. And who picked Jey Uso to win? I think you've got John Cena, CM Punk, Roman Reigns as almost the big three, and that's no disrespect to the other. And then you've got Seth, and you've got Drew, and you've got Sami Zayn, and you've got all these other. I think he's not Jey Uso as over as he is. He's definitely not. I would say Drew. Is he in people's top fives to win? Like, isn't really is he going to win here? He's going to get the great reaction. Obviously, great reaction at the beginning, 65, 70,000 people eating because he comes in, and then what a celebration at the end. And he is going to wrestle one of the champions. It looks like Gunter because he said he can beat him in this press conference. Cody versus Jey, I'm not saying no to that. But we have to see now. We've got Elimination Chamber, and this is the beauty of how good the ending was, and the whole stuff with Roman and stuff. Is that I think the only guaranteed match I think we've got going into WrestleMania is Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton, and that's only because Charlotte Flair has wrestled Rhea Ripley twice at WrestleMania, although one of those matches was with no audience at all, and the other match was probably the match of the year, WrestleMania 39, definitely up there with the match of the year, WrestleMania 39. So there's a chance that you call that, but I don't. I think you leave that. You don't leave that. I think you see the dream match of the two of Charlotte Flair and the new Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton. So I think that's the only thing that I can say in my head that I'm almost certain Charlotte Flair this week will be on. What's Tiffany on SmackDown? Maybe she'll be on Raw and she'll be in NXT and she'll tease it. And I think she picks Tiffany Stratton, and I think we get a sort of what is it, 7, no more than that, 8, 9 week build up to that at WrestleMania. But as I said, all of the rest of it, I think. I mean, maybe there is. I'm sure if you look at the rumors enough, maybe there is some answers of who's going to wrestle who in terms of Roman, Punk, Seth, and then you've got Drew, and then you've got Cody, and then you've got KO, and then you've got Randy Orton maybe coming back, and then you've got Damien Priest. You've got John Cena, obviously. In terms of who's John Cena's entered the elimination chamber, said he deserves it or something, or he doesn't need to qualify, which I think is fair enough. So John Cena and 5 others going for the thing, because obviously the whole thing is John Cena can win number 17 this year. He may well win number 17. Yeah, he may well not win number 17, and it might be a glorious failure of a year, and that might be the story. Or he might win it right at the end, but he doesn't have to win it at WrestleMania. WrestleMania is only the third event he's going to be at, and he's going to be at, I think, most of the PLEs by the sounds of it. He's definitely at, he's been obviously at the Royal Rumble, he's going to be at them things. So there's no, it doesn't, John Cena might be a heavy favourite. We don't know who the other 5 people are. Seth Rollins could be in it, CM Punk could be in it. We don't know who the other 5 people are in the actual elimination chamber. Drew McIntyre. So there's no, you could go down the route of Jey Uso and Gunter. Then you could have Cody versus, if assuming Cody's healthy, Cody and Cena, which again, 2 great. I mean, Jey and Gunter running it back will be great. I'm not sure that's a main event as much as he is main event Jey Uso, and it's the main event and it's the World Heavyweight Championship. I can't see that being the main event of one of the night. I might be wrong, but I can't see that being the main event of one of the nights. But I can see Cody and Cena being one of the main events if that's the way they go. Again, who's to know what's going to happen with the Punk, Roman, Favor, Seth, all of that situation. Um, but I'm here for it. Right. Let me know your thoughts. Please like and subscribe as normal. What are your thoughts on the Royal Rumble? What did you enjoy? What hits? What were the misses? Who are you pleased to see return? Who are you pleased to see call up? Who are you disappointed not to see? What were your thoughts? And if you actually have some thoughts on Machine Gun versus DIY, then please feel free to post them. And I promise I won't delete them at the comment section. Right. Be back soon. Enjoy the Royal Rumble if you've not seen it yet.